If you grew up in America during the 60s, 70s, or 80s, then you probably remember the magic of TV dinners. Those shiny aluminum trays sliding out of the freezer, the warm hum of the oven, and the excitement of eating a full meal right in front of your favorite show. It felt like the future. Fast, simple, and a little bit fancy. Families gathered around the living room, not the dining room, and the glow of the TV replaced the glow of the chandelier. These meals weren't just food. They were tiny time capsules filled with the flavors of a very different America. Today, we're flipping back through the old pages of our food memories. Today, we're looking at 10 forgotten TV dinners that once ruled American tables. 1. Swanson's Turkey Dinner, the one that started it all. Swanson's Turkey Dinner was the TV dinner that truly began the craze. It came out in 1953, right when Americans were falling in love with television. The shiny 3-compartment tray looked futuristic, like something from a space program. Families felt proud placing it in the oven, waiting for that golden turkey smell to fill the house. The mashed potatoes were simple, the peas were plain, but together they felt special. Kids loved having their own meal, separate from the grown-ups' plates. It was like getting your own little kingdom. This dinner helped change how America ate during busy nights. Moms suddenly had more free time, and dads loved the novelty of eating in front of the TV. Swanson sold millions of these trays in just the first year. For a while, it seemed like they would never disappear. But as tastes changed, people wanted fresher food and fewer canned flavors. New brands pushed Swanson aside. The turkey dinner stayed in history, remembered mostly in commercials and old magazine ads. Today, it survives as a symbol of simpler evenings. Warm, hurried, yet somehow unforgettable. 2. Banquet's Salisbury Steak, the weeknight classic. There was a time when Salisbury steak felt like the king of all frozen meals. Banquet made sure every supermarket freezer had stacks of them. The brown gravy was thick, salty, and strangely comforting. Many kids didn't know what Salisbury steak even was, but they didn't care. It tasted like school lunch mixed with homemade cooking. The mashed potatoes often baked into the gravy, creating a little pond of flavor. Families bought these because they were cheap and hearty. They became a go-to meal on busy school nights. The smell filled the house with something warm and familiar. It felt like a hug after a long day. But the world moved on. Health trends arrived, and people looked for meals with less sodium and fewer preservatives. The old Salisbury steak slowly lost its place. Today, it lives on mostly in memory, another comfort food from a different era. 3. Morton's Chicken Pot Pie Dinner, a tiny feast in a tray. Before fancy microwavable meals, Morton's Chicken Pot Pie Dinner was the big event. The pot pie sat in its own crisp little shell, bubbling with thick gravy, carrots, and peas. It made the house smell like a homemade Sunday meal, even when it came from a factory. Kids waited eagerly for the crust to turn golden. Sometimes it burned at the edges, but nobody minded. This dinner felt larger than life, even though the portions were small. Families trusted Morton's for quick comfort. They were sold everywhere, from big stores to little corner markets. But as ovens got replaced by microwaves, pot pies didn't heat the same way. They turned soggy instead of crisp. People lost patience for long cooking times. The magic slowly faded. Morton's disappeared from most shelves. But for many, those pies were the closest thing to a warm hug on a cold evening. 4. Libbyland Adventure Dinners, when mealtime felt like playtime. In the 1970s, Libbyland made kids feel like dinner was a theme park. The boxes came with colorful cartoon characters, pirates, spacemen, cowboys. Inside were fun-shaped foods like wagon wheels and space sticks. Kids felt excited before even opening the box. The meals weren't gourmet, but they felt magical. Parents liked them because they kept kids happy and quiet. The idea was simple: make dinner an adventure. Libbyland became a hit for a few bright years. Kids traded the box tops at school like treasures. But the fun couldn't last. Families started wanting healthier meals with fewer artificial colors. Adults realized these dinners were more sugar and salt than real nutrition. Sales faded fast. Libbyland disappeared almost overnight. But for many children of the 70s, the memory of those bright boxes still glows warmly, like a lost cartoon show from childhood. 5. Swanson's Mexican-style dinner, America's first taste of exotic. Long before America embraced tacos and burrito bowls, Swanson introduced a Mexican-style dinner. It came with enchiladas, refried beans, and sometimes a mild Spanish rice. For many families, this was their first taste of Mexican-inspired food. It felt bold, exciting, and a little bit different. The enchiladas were soft and mild, designed not to scare picky eaters. Kids loved the gooey cheese, even if it wasn't very authentic. Families served it on Friday nights as a fun change of pace. It helped open the door to new cuisines in American homes, but food culture changed quickly. Real Mexican restaurants became more common. People wanted fresher flavors and spicier sauces. Compared to that, the old Swanson dinner felt dull. It slowly vanished from store shelves. Yet for many Americans, it was a first tiny step into a much bigger world of flavor. 6. Banquet Hungry Man, fried chicken dinner, the giant that shrunk. When Hungry Man dinners first hit the shelves, they felt massive. The fried chicken pieces were big and crispy. The mashed potatoes came in generous scoops. Corn and brownies filled out the rest of the tray. It was a dinner meant for big appetites, as the commercials said. Many dads loved these after a long day at work. They felt hearty, filling, and proudly American. But as diets changed, these dinners began to look oversized. People wanted lighter meals with fresher ingredients. Hungry Man slowly shrank in popularity. The fried chicken dinner became harder to find. Newer brands moved in with healthier options. The old giant faded away. But in memory, those trays still feel huge, like something from a time when dinner meant abundance and comfort. 7. Kid cuisine, Dino meals. When dinosaurs ruled snack time, every kid in the 90s knew the blue box of kid cuisine, and the most famous version was the Dino meal. It featured dinosaur-shaped nuggets, bright green pudding, and smiley potatoes. It wasn't healthy, but it was fun. Parents bought them because they made picky eaters excited to try dinner. Kids felt like they were eating toys made of food. Commercials showed cartoon penguins dancing with dinosaurs. The meals became a cultural moment, but as parents learned more about nutrition, the excitement faded. The desserts were too sugary, the nuggets were too processed. Kid cuisine slowly disappeared from many stores. The Dino meal was one of the first to go. Still, its memory lives on in the hearts of kids who once believed dinner could be a prehistoric adventure. Campbell's frozen soup sandwich, the cozy combo that didn't last. During the late 70s, Campbell's tried something new, a frozen soup and sandwich meal. It sounded perfect, comfort food in a tray. Tomato soup came in a neat block, ready to melt into warmth. The grilled cheese was pre-assembled but crisped up in the oven. Families loved the idea of a cozy lunch without the mess. It felt like something from a diner but quicker. Kids dipped the sandwich into the soup just like at home. For a little while it really worked, but microwaves changed everything. Soup didn't heat evenly in early microwaves, and the sandwiches turned rubbery. The magic faded. Campbell's pulled the product, and most people forgot it ever existed. Today it feels like a warm idea that simply arrived too early. 9. Stouffer's French bread pizza dinner. When pizza night fit in a tray, before frozen pizzas became common, Stouffer's French bread pizza dinner was a big hit. The long slice of crispy bread gave each meal a special crunch. Kids loved the chewy cheese and sweet tomato sauce. It felt like a mix between pizza and garlic bread. Parents liked it because it cooked fast and filled hungry stomachs. Families made it a Friday night tradition. But as full-size frozen pizzas grew cheaper and tastier, the French bread version lost its charm. People wanted something more authentic. The dinner version vanished, though the pizza itself survived in other forms. For many, though, the memory of that warm, crispy slice still brings back the glow of childhood evenings. 10. Swanson's Polynesian-style dinner, a taste of tropical dreams. In the 1960s, America fell in love with tiki culture. Swanson tried to bring that dream to dinner tables with its Polynesian-style dinner. It came with sweet and sour chicken, pineapple bits, and fried rice. Many families had never tasted anything like it. The meal felt like a tiny vacation for the price of a frozen dinner. Kids loved the sweetness of the sauce. Parents liked the idea of trying something new. It became a quiet hit for a few years. But as people learned more about real Asian and Pacific cuisines, the meal started to feel outdated. It was too sugary, too simple, and not very authentic. Newer dishes replaced it. The Polynesian dinner faded into nostalgia. Today, it stands as a reminder of how Americans once dreamed of faraway places without ever leaving the living room. Thanks for taking this nostalgic trip back to the days when dinner came in shiny trays and television ruled the night. If you enjoyed remembering these lost meals, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more journeys into America's past. There are so many memories still waiting to be rediscovered. Until next time, keep rewinding.